Have you ever felt like life was passing right in front of your eyes and you weren't doing a thing about it? Waking up late, scrolling on your phone, playing one more game, watching one more video, telling yourself, I'll start in a little bit, but that little bit never comes. And by the end of the day, you're lying there again with that same familiar question, what the heck am I doing with my life? Most people call this laziness. They'll tell you to be more disciplined, to manage your time better. But the truth is your problem has nothing to do with time management skills. What's holding you back is not laziness. It's a very deep part of your mind quietly avoiding growing up. And what's the scariest part? A lot of men don't grow out of this in their 20s. They carry it into their 30s, 40s, 50s, even their 60s. On the outside, they still look like adults. But on the inside, there's a very childish part of them that panics every time life asks them to take responsibility. Welcome back to Apex. Today we're going to step into the psychology of the man-child. Before we begin, I need to say this up front. This video may not be easy to hear. It might make you uncomfortable, maybe even hit your ego a little. But if you can stay calm enough to listen until the end, this might be the exact wake-up call you need to truly snap out of it. So what exactly is this childish part? And what form is it hiding inside you? Let's start by dissecting its psychology. The psychoanalyst Carl Jung used a Latin term, puer aeternus, to describe the state. It means the eternal boy. In everyday life, we know it by names like Peter Pan syndrome or the man-child. When you are caught in this syndrome, it does not mean you are unintelligent or incapable. In fact, you are often someone with a lot of ideas and sharp instincts. However, your biggest trait in this state is an extreme desire for absolute freedom. In this state, freedom seems to mean not being tied down by anything, not being responsible for anyone, and not having to make any fixed choices. You want to keep yourself in a place where every door stays open, but you never actually walk through any of them. Carl Jung described your life with a very accurate phrase, the provisional life. Living a provisional life means you always feel like what you are doing right now is not your real life. You work an office job, but you tell yourself it is only a temporary job to make a living, while deep down, you are actually an undiscovered genius waiting for your moment. You live in a messy room, but you think there is no need to clean it because this is only a temporary place, and one day you will have a real home. You date someone, but deep inside you always think this is not the most perfect person for you, and you are only in a temporary relationship. Because you think everything is temporary, you never put your full heart and effort into anything. You live like a spectator sitting in the stands, watching your own life pass by. You watch the people around you throw themselves into life. They work, they fail, they move up, they get married. Your mind looks at them and unconsciously creates the feeling that you are somehow above them. The ego of the child inside you tells itself that they are trapped in the rat race of bills and daily survival, while you are just waiting for a more special path. But the truth is, you choose to be a spectator, not because you are free, but because you are using that freedom as a shield. When you do not choose a specific career, you can proudly tell yourself that you have the potential to do anything. When you never truly give your all to any goal, you never have to face the feeling of failure. You keep all your dreams as perfect ideas in your head because a dream that has never been tested has never had the chance to fail. The deepest hidden fear behind your careless attitude is the fear of reality. Everyday reality always comes with harsh rules. Reality has bills to pay, rejection, competition, and flaws. In that safe imaginary world, you are a star. But when you step into reality, you have to accept that you are starting from zero. You have to learn, you have to work, and you have to take responsibility for your mistakes. A part of you would rather cling to a safe provisional life than step onto the field and accept the risk of getting hurt. So where did this chronic procrastination and fear of growing up actually come from? Why do you choose to trap yourself inside the cocoon of childhood instead of stepping out into the world? To answer that, we need to flip back through the pages of the past. Marie-Louise von Franz, a close colleague of Carl Jung, pointed out a surprising truth. Most man-children, when they were young, were actually very gifted kids. Maybe as a child, you were the smartest kid in class, someone who learned everything quickly without much effort, or someone with a special talent in a certain area. You received tons of praise from your parents and teachers. You were labeled as a special child, or a future genius. These early compliments accidentally created a dangerous psychological trap. You began to build your entire sense of self-worth around being outstanding and full of great potential. You believed you were different from the rest of the world. However, the tragedy begins when you enter adulthood and have to face real society. In the school of life, Potential is no longer something that gets rewarded. The real world only recognizes results and persistence. When you start a new job or a new project, you cannot be great right away. You will make mistakes, you will be rejected, and you will see that there are many other people who are better than you. For someone who grew up believing they were special, these experiences feel like a direct threat to your ego. The feeling that you are not good enough, the feeling of being rejected, hurts deeply. And to protect that wounded ego, your mind activates an automatic defense mechanism. That mechanism is procrastination. You start telling yourself, I have not succeeded only because I have not truly started taking things seriously yet, not because I am not good enough. When you delay applying for jobs, delay writing that book, delay learning a new skill, what you are really doing is protecting the illusion of your own ability. As long as you have not started, you still have the right to believe that if you did start, you would definitely become the best. At this point, procrastination is not simply laziness. It is a psychological strategy that helps you avoid facing your actual level of ability. Look at the story of Icarus in mythology. He was given a pair of wax wings to escape from the island where he was trapped, but he refused to respect the limits. He flew too high, too close to the sun, because he thought he was untouchable until the heat melted the wax and he fell into the sea. You are the image of Icarus when you confuse potential with real achievement. You can dream about flying very high in the wonderful plans you create for yourself. But if you have not learned how to walk steadily on the ground, if you have not trained yourself through even the smallest tasks, you will be very easily shattered when you touch reality. And when the gap between fantasy and reality keeps getting bigger, people can easily fall into a self-destructive spiral with 3 familiar psychological traps of the eternal child. Trap 1. Constantly looking for tools to numb your awareness. It is easy to understand why we want comfort after a tiring day, but the problem lies in how you use it. Every time you face the pressure of life or the fear of failure, your familiar reaction is not to solve the problem, but to find a quick escape so you do not have to feel that discomfort. You dive into gaming all night, scroll through short videos aimlessly on your phone, sink into toxic pleasures on the internet, or chase short-term stimulation. For you, this is not normal entertainment. It is a psychological anesthetic that helps you temporarily forget the reality that you are standing still. In the virtual world of a game, you can be a successful hero. But when you turn off the screen, you return to an empty reality. You are using these short-term pleasures to escape the alarm bell of your own life. Trap 2. Being extremely afraid of long-term commitment. In the early stage, when everything is still new and fun, you are very enthusiastic. But as soon as the relationship starts asking for responsibility, promises about the future, or financial sharing, you immediately feel trapped. You begin to exaggerate the other person's small flaws, focus on everything that is not perfect, or use your circumstances as a reasonable excuse to slowly pull away. On a deeper level, you may unconsciously be drawn to someone who takes care of you too much and then slowly place on them the role of carrying your emotions and responsibilities for you. Over time, they have to carry too much, from cleaning and money to major decisions, while you stay stuck in the role of the person being taken care of rather than someone who carries the weight with them. Trap 3. Victim mentality and the habit of blaming others. The eternal child syndrome can easily pull you into a victim mindset, where every outside pressure is seen as proof that the world is against you. This is like the story of Peter Pan, who always sees the adult Captain Hook as the evil enemy. In real life, Captain Hook represents your boss, the rules of society, and the ticking clock of time that is pushing you to grow up. Instead of allowing your mind to accept the reality that you need more effort and discipline, this syndrome tricks you into seeing all of those pressures as unfair. Yes, the economy can be difficult, the job market can be harsh, and society is not always fair. But the trap is this: if you use those things as the only reason not to act, you accidentally hand over full control of your life to your circumstances. This mechanism keeps you stuck in the land of avoidance, where you feel protected. But in reality, you are slowly losing your ability to take responsibility for your own life. But you know what? Recognizing these 3 traps is not about beating yourself up and calling yourself a failure. Recognizing them is about understanding your invisible enemy, and knowing this, you have the power to change it starting today. If you saw yourself in the parts we just went through, what you need right now is not to sink into guilt. Guilt can make you blame yourself, but it does not necessarily make you grow up. What you need are the real actions of an adult. There are 4 steps to step out of the cocoon. Step 1. Completely change the way you think about growing up. One of the biggest misunderstandings of the eternal child state is the belief that growing up, making money, and carrying responsibility will turn them into someone ordinary, kill their creativity, and erase the dreams and ambitions of their youth. They see adulthood as a prison, but the truth is the exact opposite. You need to understand that responsibility and commitment are not chains. They are the strongest protective walls for your dreams. Just imagine this. If someone has a talent for writing but does not have the discipline to sit down at the desk every day, that talent will disappear into nothing. If someone has a brilliant business idea but is afraid of risk and refuses to learn how to manage money, that idea will stay on paper forever. Growing up does not kill the creative child inside you. It gives that child a structure, a solid foundation, so ideas can become real in the real world. Step 2. Bravely embrace being ordinary. The psychology of the eternal child often makes you look down on normal tasks and daily routines because they seem too small compared to the special image you once believed about yourself. To break this mechanism, you have to start doing those small and boring things with the greatest seriousness. Start by cleaning your own room, washing and folding your own clothes neatly, and try doing it in silence, without using music or your phone to pull your attention somewhere else. Focus completely on the action itself. Pay your own electric and water bills on time. Take a normal job, whether it is physical work or a low-paying office job, and try to do it as well as you can. When you allow yourself to do these ordinary things seriously, you are pulling your mind down from the clouds and back to the ground. You are directly interacting with reality and realizing that the world does not stop just because you are avoiding it or because you are not ready. Step 3. Practice exposure therapy with failure. Because the core fear of this state is the fear that you are not good enough, the way to overcome it is not to avoid failure forever, but to slowly expose yourself to situations where real failure is possible. Choose one thing you have been putting off for a long time simply because you were afraid you would not do it well. It might be finishing your resume and sending it to 5 different companies. It might be signing up for a new skills course, where you accept that you may be clumsy at the beginning. It might be apologizing to someone you hurt, or asking your boss directly for honest feedback about your ability. When you do this, you will see that failure is not as terrifying as you imagined. Being rejected does not mean your life is over. A man's character is not formed when he always wins in his imagination. It is shaped and strengthened through the times he falls in real life, then gets back up by himself, brushes the dust off his knees, and keeps going. Step 4. Find an outside structure that holds you accountable. One very strong tendency of the eternal child is constantly negotiating with himself to avoid discomfort. When things get hard, your mind can easily come up with hundreds of reasons that sound reasonable just so you can delay, rest a little longer, or crawl back into your soft bed with your phone. That is why, in the beginning, you cannot fully rely on your own willpower. You need to find a mentor, a teacher, a strict boss, or a community of highly disciplined men. Find people who are honest enough to point out when you are making excuses, serious enough not to pamper your procrastination, and demanding enough to expect you to finish what you promised. The pressure of a disciplined environment and the supervision of the people around you will be what keeps your feet on the ground whenever the child inside you wants to fly back into the fantasy world. These 4 steps are not easy, but they are a very practical path for you to start pulling yourself back into real life. Do not let your potential stay forever, in the words almost. Do not wait until the end of your life, look back, and have nothing but regret. The difference between a person with real achievements and a person forever trapped in potential is not natural talent. It is whether you dare to step out of the imaginary world and face the scratches of reality. There may be no magical moment that pulls you out of that room. There is also no magic that will turn you into a successful person overnight if you keep letting each day pass unconsciously in front of a screen. Maybe you have lived too long on the surface of life, inside a feeling of safety that seems comfortable but has been quietly trapping you. Now, it is time to step into the deep waters of reality. And before we close today's video, think carefully about a quote from Carl Jung. The greatest burden a child must bear is the unlived life of its parents. If you keep avoiding life and living temporarily today, what you lose is not just time. Little by little, that helplessness and regret can accidentally become something you carry into love, family, friendship, and even the way you treat the next generation. If you saw yourself in today's story, hit like and subscribe so you and Apex can keep decoding the deepest hidden corners of the mind together. And if you recognize the shadow of someone you love in the world of the eternal child, send this video to them as a respectful wake-up call so both of you can grow together. Thank you for being here with Apex. Goodbye, and see you next time.